similar to Bob, again, you hear stories of people that their upbringings are way more dramatic than mine, And then you start to go like, well, what is my drive,
Welcome to MsMojo, and today we're breaking down the rigorous, years-long process that Oscar nominee Timothée Chalamet engaged to play the one and only Bob Dylan.
If you go with snowflake storm, with the rivers freezing, summer ends.
Who is Bob Dylan?
You tramped all the way from Minnesota. Why is that?
I wanted to catch a spark.
To understand Timothée Chalamet's complete and utter transformation into, the complete unknown himself, we have to take a deeper dive into the subject of director James Mangold's 2024 biopic. The future Bob Dylan was born Robert Allen Zimmerman in Duluth, Minnesota in 1941, eventually rebranding himself in homage to the Welsh poet Dylan Thomas.
You came here with nothing but a guitar. You never talk about your family, your past.
People make up their past, Sylvie. They remember what they want. They forget the rest.
Dylan dropped out of college in 1960 to move to New York City as a way to pursue a career in music, and crucially, to meet with his idol, folk legend Woody Guthrie. Over time, Dylan's unique songwriting POV, which often found him tackling hot-button issues of the day, raised his profile, and music fans and other performers sat up and took notice. Of his second album, 1963's The Freewheelin' Bob Dylan, famed critic Janet Maslin wrote that, quote, his mixture of moral authority and nonconformity was perhaps the most timely of his attributes.
They say no one wants to hear what a kid wrote last month.
Well, I like your songs.
Where the winds hit heavy on the borderline.
Who wrote this? He did.
What was the Electric Dylan controversy?
For anyone who's gonna hold your attention on stage, you have to kind of be a freak. You can be beautiful or you can be ugly, but you can't be plain.
Although Dylan himself has consistently downplayed the label, it doesn't feel inaccurate to say that he was largely considered the spokesman of a generation by the mid-60s. Dylan, ever the provocateur, formally rejected the moniker with the 1965 album Bringing It All Back Home, which has retroactively been regarded as one of the greatest, most influential rock albums ever recorded.
I ain't gonna work on Maggie's farm no more.
Notably, the album's first half featured electric instrumentation, new territory for Dylan and for American folk music. Dylan's decision to quote-unquote go electric was met with widespread controversy from folk fans and Dylan's peers, who felt that the musician was selling out and thus abandoning his roots.
Once upon a time, you dressed so fine, through the bumps of dime in your prime. Then
Dylan's 1965 headlining set at the Newport Folk Festival was infamously met with boos from the audience, who felt betrayed at the sight of Dylan wielding an electric guitar. This controversy would ultimately serve as the subject matter for A Complete Unknown.
200 people in that room, and each one wants me to be somebody else. And they should just let me be.
Let you be what?
Whatever it is they don't want me to be.
Why A Complete Unknown took almost 5 years to make.
I hear Bob is playing electric.
Not on our stage, he isn't.
So now that we've laid the groundwork, let's fast forward almost 60 years to January 2020, when director James Mangold announced that he would be making A Complete Unknown and that Oscar nominee Timothée Chalamet would be playing Bob Dylan. At the time, the film was announced under the working title Going Electric. Can't argue with that.
I'm not sure they want to hear what I want to play, Johnny.
I want to hear it.
Unfortunately for Mangold, Chalamet, and literally everybody else, March of that year saw the COVID-19 pandemic enter full swing, shutting down countless industries. Little news about the project emerged until November 2022, when Chalamet confirmed that the film was still in production. A few months later, in February 2023, the film's official title was announced, and it was confirmed that A Complete Unknown would be Mangold's next project, following Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny.
The Bob Dylan story in itself is a story about being an artist and how we find our way in the world. One of the things that's most important to me are the performances, is the collaboration with the actors.
How Timothee became a, quote, devoted disciple in the Church of Bob.
Timmy and I, it's been 5 years working on this movie together.
It was important for me to sing and play live because if I can actually do it, why should there be an element of artifice here? And I'm proud that we took that leap.
Never let it be said that Chalamet is a slacker. While A Complete Unknown languished in COVID-19 development hell, the Call Me By Your Name and Dune star was hard at work honing and perfecting his Bob Dylan impression, as well as researching the enigmatic singer-songwriter's long and storied career.
I'm now deep in that Church of Bob, and I feel like I got this opportunity to kind of be a bridge to this music.
As Chalamet noted in a wide-ranging Rolling Stone interview, he initially expected only 4 months to do that work. Thanks to COVID, he got 5 years. Brian Hyatt, who interviewed Chalamet for the article, wrote that, quote, Chalamet never quite left Bobland. On his phone is a video of him on the set of Dune singing Don't Think Twice, It's All Right in Paul Atreides' intergalactic pajamas, and a photo where he's playing guitar in his Willy Wonka outfit.
Has better understanding what he went through, has it changed you?
Like Bob says at the end of Don't Look Back, I feel like I went through a thing, and it was like a new guiding light to how I want to feel when I work.
Yes, that's really him playing.
There's 40 songs in the movie that he performs live on guitar and harmonica and singing live take after take after take.
I had goosebumps. You can see how much love and how hard he's worked and how much he cares about getting this right.
For A Complete Unknown, Chalamet ate, drank, and bled Dylan, even visiting Dylan's childhood home, which has since been converted into a veritable Dylan museum by its current owner. As Hyatt writes in the Rolling Stone article, Chalamet worked with a, quote, vocal coach, a guitar teacher, a dialect coach, a movement coach, even a harmonica guy.
There's an energy and chemistry to the interaction between a performer and a live audience that's just different.
We're set up to record all of the performances for real. All of the microphones are real period microphones. All the instruments are real period instruments.
We have done this movie 100% live. There's no earpiece, there's no timing mechanism or anything.
The actor was adamant on preserving a sense of realism for the film, and you'll see it all on screen. Chalamet, who was originally set to learn just 13 songs for the film, ended up learning 30, some of which are played live by him in the film. Said Chalamet, quote, you can't recreate it in the studio. If I was singing to a pre-recorded guitar, then all of a sudden I could hear the lack of an arm movement in my voice.
There's a lot that has to happen to feel authentic to them on stage. It has to feel real, like a live show. And a lot of Bob's performances are improvised, so for Timmy to be up there and make each performance his own is incredible.
How he benefited from a lot of coaching.
When I got approached with this project 5 years ago, or 6 years ago, let's say, this was 2018, and I had just done Call Me By Your Name, Bob Dylan was this name I knew was held in reverence, and I knew I was supposed to respect. If you were in the in crowd, that's a name you get behind. But truthfully, I didn't know anything about it.
Speaking to Apple Music's Zane Lowe ahead of A Complete Unknown's release, Chalamet revealed that he had worked with dialect coach Tim Monach to approximate Dylan's inimitable nasal wail. This was in addition to vocal coach Eric Vitro and movement coach Polly Bennett.
And I also found like my voice had like a baritone, and it all sounded clean. And I was doing vocal warm-ups with Eric Vitro, who was this vocal coach who helped me on Wonka and helped me sing grand on Wonka. And then here I would listen to it back and I'm like, man, this sounds too clean, you know?
It wouldn't be the first time this particular trio had worked together to help a young actor bring a rock legend to life. They had previously done so for Austin Butler in Elvis, which saw him Oscar nominated.
Oh, Lord. I knew you were the right guys for this job.
You know, back when I was starting out, some people wanted to put me in jail, even kill me, because of the way I was moving. So they cut my hair, they put me in uniform, and they sent me away.
However, while it's inarguable that Chalamet was surrounded by a winning team, you also have to give him and his work ethic credit. According to Larry Saltzman, Chalamet's guitar teacher for A Complete Unknown, quote, if I presented something to him like, okay, this is the real way, but there's a little bit of a shortcut, his answer to that was always, don't show me the shortcut.
It was the first one we shot in the movie. You couldn't do it to a playback because it's such an intimate scene. It's in a hospital room with Woody Guthrie and Pete Seeger. And I did it live and it clicked. Great, you know? And I'm making mistakes on the guitar a little bit here and there, but you can kind of fill those in after. I went home and I wept that night, not to be dramatic, but it's a song I've been living with for years.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications.
why Timothée Chalamet was the only choice to play Bob Dylan.
The best feedback I got over the course of the shoot, and this is the first shoot I've really turned my phone off the entire time. You know, I was watching this Ed Bradley interview with Bob Dylan the other day, 60 Minutes one, kind of this famous 2004 interview, and Bob in it says his connection to his sense of destiny was fragile. I like that he used that word fragile, because I always felt my connection to Bob was fragile.
With his star still on the rise, it's hard to argue that Chalamet has the makings of a future Hollywood legend. Still under 30 at the time of A Complete Unknown's release, the actor already has an Oscar nomination under his belt, as well as numerous collaborations with high-profile auteurs like Christopher Nolan, Denis Villeneuve, and Greta Gerwig.
I can't love anyone else, Joe. I only love you.
Teddy, it would be a disaster if we married.
It wouldn't be a disaster.
We'd be miserable.
Joe, I'd be a perfect saint.
I can't. I've tried it and I failed.
Why does everyone expect it then? Why does your family and my grandpa expect it? Why are you saying this? Say yes. Let's be happy together, Joe.
I can't say yes truly, so I'm not going to say it at all.
Clearly, we aren't the only ones who think so. In the aforementioned Rolling Stone article, Chalamet revealed that none other than Tom Cruise had given him advice on how to properly be an old-school leading man. Chalamet also discussed how he could relate to Dylan in his early career. Quote, "You feel boxed in, and you feel like you have something more to say." With A Complete Unknown, the young actor is at the perfect stage in his career to embody the legendary folk singer, and we can't wait to see what he'll do next. I felt like I came into his music at a time where pop culturally, not a lot of people around me were coming to Bob Dylan, so I felt very connected to it. I had to learn how famous he was in the 60s and 70s. At first I thought he was like the treat I found. Are you excited to see A Complete Unknown? Do you think Timothée Chalamet is up to the task of playing the Rolling Stone himself? Let us know in the comments below.
Like a complete unknown, like a rolling stone.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from MsMojo. And be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.